What is going on, YouTube? This is Shane Watson with the Blue Water Battle Circuit. For the last time, I'm going to apologize for not being here lately. The tournament that we started ended on November 2nd. The day that happened, I went to see a friend, so I was gone for a weekend. That happened, and then when I got back, it was my busiest week of school. And then I was sick for like a week, and then I went to actually 2 weeks. Then I went to Chicago for a week, and then I got sick for a week. Then the holidays, and then I got new equipment, and then that wasn't working the way I wanted it to. But we're back. So I'm here giving you guys the playoffs. Round one. The whole reason that we started the tournament instead of finishing out the league and having playoffs the way we wanted to was because some people weren't dedicated, and it kind of at least finish the season out the way we wanted to. It was just, hey, you guys can hopefully just hold out, do one more week, or just play until you lose. So mainly those people were seated lowly, and then most of them just quit week one. Um, I know the Ninetales quit before the tournament even started, so that's why the PGS moved on. And then Nathan at the time was in Afghanistan, and he was busy over there, so he had to forfeit round two. So round two is really the first week. So let's peep out these battles. To be honest with you, I have not watched these since they actually happened back in, was it like October, early November? So this is going to be a new experience for me as well. So where is the sound on this? I apologize. I knew there was something. I did not check. I don't know. We haven't had sound in any of these videos, anyways. Alright. Alright, so this battle we have the Orlando Magic Mike, which were the 6th seed, versus the Abilene Absols, which were the 3rd seed. I believe Richard went 3-1, and Jillian went 2-2. Wrong battle. So Jillian brought her Landorus, Clefable, Mega Aggron, Vaporeon, Leafeon, and Alakazam. Richard brought Mega, Diancie, Flygon, Volcanion, Blaziken, Blissey, and Swampert. So Jillian leads off with Landorus, and Richard led off with Swampert. So Jillian goes for that standard U-turn. Richard goes for a Waterfall, just trying to get some special effective damage, but Landorus already pieced out. So that did a solid... Yeah, that did do nothing, Richard. A 10%. The following turn, Richard stays in, sacks off his Swampert. Interesting play. I would have just went into... he should have just went into Blaziken. Even Flygon would have been standard. I mean, would have been neutral damage. So that was definitely a misplay on his part. Jillian... She swaps into her Landorus, trying to get the Intimidate drop. Also, there's not much Blaziken can do other than like a Fire Punch or a Flare Blitz, but it resists its Fighting Stab, and normally Blazikens run Fire Stab, Fighting Stab, and then either Earthquake or a special fire move. This is a standard speed boost set with a Protect. So that's a good play on Jilly's part. I'm assuming Richard maybe he had Flare Blitz and was probably about to Fired that off thinking that if Fire Punch did like 41%, and then with his +1, um, not thinking that Landorus scarfed, and maybe thinking it was the bulky variant instead of the scarf variant, which I think is bad prep on his part since Jillian has brought Scarf Landorus every single game. So he goes out in Volcanion, eats about 92%, and then fires off with a Steam Eruption. Again, I think that was a bad play. At that point, outspeeding a +1 Blaziken, you would have to know that it's Scarfed. It just went with for Earthquake, so he should have went out into Flygon. It being immune to ground moves because it's Levitate. And then he would have been able to fire off a free whatever he wanted, either Dragon Claw, Earthquake, even a U-turn to get initiative. But Volcanion does hold on, takes out Landorus. Jillian goes into her Leafeon, fires up another Leaf Blade. Leafeon picking up another kill. Some switching going on. Fires up a Moonblast. Blissey, being the fat wall it is, just eats it up. Going for a Seismic Toss. Getting rocks up. Got a little stall fest going on. Jillian swaps. Goes for the Focus Miss. Gets Toxic. Another Focus Miss. Alakazam is one of the... Ooh, sets up a sub. Sub Blissey is interesting. Oh, as I was about to say, Alakazam is one of the few special Pokemon that can actually beat Blissey. Normally they carry Psyshock instead of Psychic, which Jillian did not bring, but... Mega Evolves, goes for the Iron Head, breaks the sub. Ooh, Jillian talking shit in the chat. Going for some chat domination. Gets the Iron Head crit. And then picks up the KO following turn. Mega Dancey comes out. Picks up the KO. So at this point, I mean, there's not much Richard can do since he's down 4-2. Mega Diancie possibly could take out Vaporeon with one shot, but I would highly doubt it. Another Fairy type with Clefable, that's not in its favor. It probably could take out Alakazam if Focus Blast misses, which most likely it would. So he's in a bad position right here. He goes for the Diamond Storm, hoping to get the defense boost. Actually, I think that's guaranteed, which he does, yeah. So he gets a defense boost, but it's not enough. Crit just to add in salt to the wound. Flygon comes out. Finally takes out Leafeon, which I think that picked up like 3 kills. And then Jillian picks up the win. So over here, so this battle mainly came up was down to Jillian had better prep. Richard brought in the standard team that he has brought almost every week, and then Jilly prepared around that instead of just bringing in the same set that she does every week. Which, I mean, main reason of that is because I do set up her teams. Looking at Richard's team, he other than Blaziken, he had nothing for Scarf, Leafeon. To be honest, he didn't have much for Vaporeon either, other than the Volcanion, which I wouldn't say Volcanion beats Vaporeon one-on-one. It's just that it resists its stab, and all that Vaporeon really wants to do is a spam Scald and go for burns and then go for wishes anyways. Other than a bulky Volcanion, he didn't have much for Landorus that much either. Landorus beats Diancie, Volcanium. Well, I guess to be fair, Landorus does beat everything. But if you see over here that Richard actually moved on. That week, Jillian actually got a concussion. Um, doing I think her color guard, so she was out for the week and didn't want to play. So that's why Richard moved on. Over here we have Jacob versus Megan. I believe that is the second seed and the seventh seed. Jacob went 4-0 and Megan went 2-2. So Jacob brought the Mega Medicham, Exadrill, Amanda Buzz, Weavile, Cloyster, and Sigalith. And then Megan brought the standard team she has brought every week. Taxorus, Mega Ampharos, Celebi, Golbat, Jirachi, and Buffalon. Move up. Alright, so Jacob leads off with the Weavile, and Megan leads off with Buffalon. Jacob goes for the solid low kick, does a little under 25%, gets hit with the Mega Horn. Knowing Jacob, since he's not too familiar with the game, he probably didn't know that Buffalon got Mega Horn. But I do think a superpower would have definitely taken out Weavile anyways. So I think the best play that he probably should have done was just gone out into Cloyster. Wouldn't have been a bad play. Well, I guess if he thought I was going for superpower, it would have been. I think going to Mandibuzz or Sigalith would have been the play. But you live and learn. He wasn't a Mega Medicham. Probably just going for a Drain Punch. I thought he was going to go for the high jump kick. Rocky Helmet does a solid 16%. Apparently Jacob doesn't want to deal with Ampharos. So it goes into Excadrill. So guessing that she was going to go for a electric move. Goes for the Body Slam. It gets the Paralysis. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that is a Scarfed Excadrill. So that Body Slam was actually really huge. So the 50% didn't matter too much. But after this Scarfed Excadrill got paralyzed, it was practically dead. So that was you're guessing. I think you're gambling on a 30% roll, but that Body Slam, Ampharos really came in clutch. Because Excadrill, she can't Thunder Wave it since it's a ground type, so that was really good prep on her part. Goes out in the Golbat, gets the Sludge Bomb, takes out Cloyster. The Fat Mandibuzz comes in. I'm assuming that Megan didn't know that Dark is immune to Psychic. Goes for a Shadow Ball. And Jacob's really not playing well against this Golbat. I think he's just testing it out, throwing whatever he has at it. Hoping something takes it out, but now he's going up for Cosmic Powers. Go for a Psycho Shift. I'm assuming he thought that I'm assuming that was a mislift. Psycho Shift wouldn't be that bad. You possibly could take Call Mines from Celebi. You can get a speed boost from Haxorus. He could see that, but most likely Haxorus would either knock it out or outspeed it anyways. So if I'm not mistaken, this is a stall fest for a little bit until I think Sigalith gets set up. I don't think it sweeps though. If I'm not mistaken, Medicham gets like 3 or 4 kills this battle. Yeah, it goes for the crit Shadow Claw, which really mattered. Goes for Restored Power, takes out Haxorus. Golbat comes in. I think it's like third kill of the game. No, it's second kill. If I'm not mistaken, Metacham comes in here and just cleans up. He gets that full HP back. Goes for a body. She went 2 for 2 on paralysis and body slams. This battle was a lot closer than I thought it was. Now that I remember it, because the Metacham got paralyzed. Drachi would have took it out the following turn, and then Extra was already done. And then if she probably would have had a gamble to get just like a freeze or a flinch on Mandibuzz, but with Jirachi, it's not as it's more of a 50-50 than praying on like a 30%. So you're just gambling on a coin toss. So if she got a freeze or just an Iron Head, that's all I would have took. But Jacob did pull through on that. Why did I do that? Alright, and then the last battle was me versus Zell. I was a number 1 seed, and I believe Zell was the number 9 seed. So I'm going to be 100% with you. I don't remember what sets I brought for this. So this is going to be a just as much mystery. Oh, I do remember some of these. I believe I brought Calm Mind, Deoxys. I think I brought the standard Assault Vest Registeel that I brought every week. Standard Mega Lopunny set. I believe I brought an almost max speed Donphan. I sped crept it to outspeed Empoleon, and then a standard Politoed set, and I don't know if I brought Scarf Kingdra. I forget what Kingdra set. He leads up with his Mega Manectric. I just go for a Calm Mind, and for whatever reason, he does not Mega Evolve his Mega Manectric. Oh, and then Zell brought his standard team that he's brought every week since week 2. Goes for the Flamethrower. My Citrus kicks in. So I'm just gonna keep Calm Minding because there's not much that this Manectric can do to me. So I go down here. My plan was to Calm Mind. Well, just get my Calm Minds up. And then when this Dragonite came in, I went for Recover, thinking that I'll eat whatever he does. Because I think I Kelt and I wasn't going to knock it out 100%. And then I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to Recover, I'll get a hit, and then I'll just go for a Psycho Boost, and I'll do as much damage as I could. And then I totally forgot that Dragonite got E-Speed. So I go into my Donphan here. I threaten him with the Ice Shard since that's how I took him out last game, and that's what he went for. So if I'm not mistaken, a max speed, a max defense, a max HP, max special defense is the standard Empoleon set, and normally Zell does bring standard Smogon sets anyways. And I Kelt it, and I think Earthquake did between 77, 87. So I wanted Empoleon at least at 80% before I went for Earthquake, trying to get blown back by a Hydro Pump or something. So Zell does predict the switch. Goes for an Ice Beam and freezes Registeel, which is a common theme with Registeel getting frozen. Actually, I take that back. Registeel actually got freezes. So I get frozen. Zell finally gets his Focus Blast off. At this point, I was pretty frustrated. I finally thought, Go for an Iron Head. I do end up taking out this Rhyperior. So this goes for standard E speed, takes out my my Registeel. That was, I mean, it wasn't hugely necessary, but actually it was a misplay. He should have went out into Mega Magic. He would have took 88%. And then either Volt Switch and then get initiative, and going out into like Victini or something, because he brings out Dragonite. He goes for E speed. He takes 24% from rocks, and then switches out. So now when he comes in, he's gonna get like 26%. But I know I can take this out because I believe I'm max HP. So when I ran the calc, I knew I was gonna live it. The V crate, and then once it got a defense drops, I knew that Victini was definitely going down. Empoleon is not at the range I need it to for Donphan to take it out, so I go my special wall. He switches out into his Manectric. I go for an Encore. The reason I brought Encore and Politoed was my plan was to set up the rain and then have it do some Encore Pokemon and something that like Kingdra resist, or at least be able to take a hit. So Kingdra would be able to come in and then start at least we'll get a free hit. So I go for the Scald. I get a Scald Burn. I predict the Volt Switch. I think I go for an Ice Shard here, knowing that I could either take that out, or if Dragonite comes in, which it does, that would be special effective. So Polion comes in. Oh, you know what? I think I brought the standard Rain Kingdra. Noticing that after a couple turns of Rain. I brought Yawn on Kingdra, which is I thought was a semi-interesting set. And then HP Ground. The reason behind it is the only thing that on his team that really cooked Kingdra on one-on-one was this Empoleon. And then the reason I had HP Ground was just because it was special effective against Manectric as well. And actually a good part of his team, 4 of his Pokemon are weak to ground. And that was the sets that he was bringing every week. So he goes for Defog, which I feel like is a little too late now that his Dragonite's gone. I don't know what I was fearing from Sableye. He goes for the Nightshade. Just trying to get some damage off. He does take out my Politoed. Goes for the recover, and I don't think it's enough. If I'm not mistaken, Kingdra just cleans up after this. Because I don't think Empoleon wakes up. If I go for that, and then I believe Kingdra outspeeds Manectric, I go for Surf, and then that's game. Pretty much, I think this came down to better team prep. I felt like my Pokemon were way more prepared for Zell's team than the other way around. Zell at this point was 2-3, and kind of knew that he was gonna lose. Since according to him, his first team that he brought against me week 1 was an anti Kingdra team, and that he was gonna beat me, and that was not the case. So that is the week 1 battles. I'll post the semifinal battles tonight, and then tomorrow I'll post the finals and the finals and then the awards. And then the day after that, I got some announcement videos I'm going to be posting. And then probably starting next week, I'll be doing at least one uh, live at least a week. So hopefully, you guys are looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys later.